And I want to ask you more about the China business. I know recently you acquired more store footage from your JV partners, but I want to ask you about this cashless store right now. You're testing one cashless store right now. How is going cashless affecting the business, Howard? What's your vision there?
Well, I think over the last 4 or 5 years, Starbucks created really the proxy for a mobile integrated digital payment system, and almost 50% already of our tender is paid with people's smartphones. So we are now testing a cashless store. We're more efficient in doing that. In China, 70% of our business is already cashless. I think it's safe to say that over the next couple of years, many of our stores across the country will be cashless. And I've spoken most recently about the fact that I strongly believe, and this is not about Bitcoin, but I do believe that given the framework and the platform that we have in our digital mobile app, that we could potentially be one of the first companies to have a proprietary digital currency integrated into our application. So our level of innovation in terms of our retail stores, our technology, the roastery, these are all things that I think are skewed towards the entrepreneurial DNA of the company. And I think most importantly, doing it in a way in which we're sharing success with our people and doing everything we can to be the kind of company that balances profit and growth and shareholder value with making sure that we are sharing this success with our people.
Yeah, you know what? It's a good point, because you've expressed skepticism over Bitcoin, but you don't need that. You can do your own payment methods, digitals, within your own family of stores. Does that use the blockchain technology?
Yes, I think blockchain technology is probably the rails in which a integrated app at Starbucks will be sitting on top of. But I think, you know, as I talk about all these things, I think it's important to take a step back and realize something. We have always taken the long term. We've always looked at things that are not based on this quarter or next quarter's performance. But having said that, we've had huge success because we've been able to take advantage of the opportunity in front of us and at the same time invest ahead of the growth curve and have the curiosity to see around corners and continue to innovate within our core business. And I think the real question in any brick and mortar retailer today is, how do you become as relevant outside of your stores as you have been inside? And if you look at what we've accomplished to date and what we're now talking about, the future of Starbucks domestically and around the world is our best days are in front of us. We've had some issues in the U.S. around comp store sales, but that's not the issue. That is just noise. We're here to stay, and we're here to maintain our leadership position. And our leadership position is defined by exceeding the expectations of our customers and also exceeding the expectations of our people. And at the same time, and I've said this to you many times, the responsibility of a corporation today is much different than it ever has been. And that means that we have to do more for our people, more for the communities we serve, and we also have to be a voice for reason and sensible solutions, whether it's tax reform, immigration, and unfortunately the tragedy that took place in Florida. We can't be silent. We can't be indifferent. We have to speak up for the people in America whose voices are not being heard.
So in terms of Starbucks' relationship with the NRA, your stance on the NRA, are you making changes today?
Well, Starbucks has never had a relationship with the NRA. Many years ago, if you might remember, because of the law within almost 46 states of open carry, we respectfully asked our customers not to bring assault weapons or weapons of war into our store, and we were pleased to see that people respected that. Starbucks is not here in any way to get engaged in that conversation other than to say, I think there are sensible solutions that can be achieved on both sides, preserving the Second Amendment. And really, I think, once again, answering the question, what kind of country do we want to live in? Do we want to live in a country where parents and grandparents are literally afraid and have anxiety about dropping their kids off in school. I don't think that's the kind of country we want to live in. And I think there are ways in which we can establish a compromise and a solution that satisfies many people on both sides of the aisle if we come to this not through the prism of ideology, but we come to this as Americans to heal the nation and come together as one people.
Howard, these issues have always been very important to you. I know that. Do you feel that you could do more in a different seat, perhaps run for the Senate?
No, I don't. I have no, Maria, I don't have any inclination to run for the Senate. I really am very satisfied with where I am at Starbucks, but I do realize that we do need voices in the country that are not tied to any ideological position, voices of reason, voices of compromise. Clearly, the country is divided, and we are divided by ideology. And I think we have to remember one thing. We are all in this together. We are all Americans, and we have an opportunity, if we could just take a step back from the things that divide us and realize that there are opportunities for us to come together on many of these issues.
All right. Howard, real quick, where will we see a second premium reserve store?
We will open reserve stores in Chicago, in New York City. The next roastery will open in Milan in September, and then the next roastery in New York, which is under construction on the corner of 9th and 15th next to the Chelsea Market, will open in the fall.
All right.
But this is just the beginning of a new wave of Starbucks super premium stores that I think will capture the imagination of our customers.
Howard, we will see you soon. Love it. Looks beautiful. Congratulations to you. We will talk with you soon, Howard.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you so much. Good to see you again. Howard Schultz, Executive Chairman at Starbucks.